Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Think Thursday. And if it is Think Thursday, means I have here somebody who can really help you explore your own mind, because Danielle Serpico is the Blackbelt Mastermind. She is hosting her own shows, radio shows, from Dublin, from Ireland. And today she's my very special guest, and I want to welcome her. For our listeners who don't know yet her, I think it's time. Now is the time for you to meet the amazing Danielle Serpico. Danielle Serpico, welcome to Radio World. So tell me, what happened since we last met in Windsor? It was 4 years ago, and we had great conversations about the power of words. What happened since?
Wow, was it 4 years ago, Marina? That's incredible. A lot has happened since then. So it's great to be here with you, of course, Marina, and I'm delighted. And it's always a pleasure talking to you anyway. I'm very happy. But a lot has happened in the last 4 years, I suppose. Where would you begin? I wrote a book. I have started, been coaching for a while now, and teaching and spreading the message that I want to get out there. And I have 2 radio shows here in Dublin, and I do many workshops and boot camps and various events to help inspire people and get them back up in life. So an awful lot has happened.
You remember when we've been talking about what you know about yourself? It was just struck a chord with me, because you got so many gifts. It's just incredible. You got so many talents, natural talents, and it was really hard to pick one and go for it and master it. So you are an amazing artist. Your paintings are just absolutely amazing. And you are an accomplished writer, but I'm saying that with thinking that I'm not saying enough, because when you write, people read. When you start reading your blog, your articles, your book, you can't leave it. It's something about your message that is connecting the reader with your story. And you have the most amazing story, and I think it's a story of the mind, because you are evolving and you are growing to this amazing person who not only can help others to broadcast their passion through your radio shows, through your live events, but you also grow yourself into your purpose. So you are delivering your life purpose. And I know it's been a tough journey. I know it's been almost excruciating at times, but you had a vision in your mind, and you never gave up. No matter how hard it was, you kept your smile on, and you keep going and going. So what are you going next? What's happening? And what are the breaking news? Give it to me.
You never know. We're going everywhere next. The world is our oyster, isn't that right? You know that better than anybody. But I'm planning on bringing the Blackbelt Mastermind, and what I've learned over these last years, anywhere and everywhere that I possibly can. I mean, this year actually I'm planning to come to the UK. Might even be recruiting you, Marina.
Why not? I'm all in. Anything. But you know what I wanted to know, actually, how the idea of Black Belt Mastermind started. Because I was mentioning you have all these talents. You are an artist, you are a writer, you are oh my God, an amazing chef, an amazing cook, and just to name a few. But then you hold the European black belt.
Yes, yeah.
Tell us more. How is that going to the mix of inner greatness you are made of? Tell us.
Well, I think personally, I think a lot of these things are related. And, you know, I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. But, but I think that being able to fight for yourself and is extremely important. And I also think that martial arts is an art form, and I'm very visual, and we all communicate in different ways. And we all have a favorite means of communication. And my favorite means of communication is visual. So in other words, I like to have eye contact with people. I like to literally visualize and imagine things inside my head. And when I communicate, I'll use a lot of words like, see what I mean? You know, instead of somebody that maybe that's more auditory who might say, do you hear what I'm saying? Right? So I'm very, very visual. And I believe that kind of spans across the board. So if somebody is visual, they can be multi-talented in a visual sense. So when I was first introduced to martial arts, for example, because I'm now, for the first time in my life, I'm proud to say I believe I'm a good artist, a great artist. At one point in my life, I thought I was a fraud. I thought I had no ability, and I thought that, you know, I shouldn't even pick up a paintbrush, and that's why I left art college when I was very young. And it took until I discovered how my mind works and to be able to sort out inside here, it took until that for me to pick up a paintbrush again. And now I believe every painting I do is better than the Mona Lisa. But because I have a passion and because I love it, and it's like meditation, it's a form of meditation for me, whether I write, whether I paint, or whether I do martial arts, it's all the same thing. They're interrelated. I believe it is said that there is numerical, there is kind of certain, in martial arts we call it the universal pattern. There's universal patterns at work in nature, in the world, in mathematics, in art, in music, in any shape or form of art whatsoever. And when I paint or when I do martial arts, I'm able to visualize very clearly what I'm doing. And I believe that's one of the reasons why I became so good at martial arts and went on then to become a black belt and went on then to become a European gold and silver medal champion in that, because I was extremely good at visualizing the movement, and I would literally see circles of the pattern of your hand, the way it would move, as if you can imagine in the Olympics, you know, the girls that do the beautiful forms with the ribbons. I could see those spirally movements in my head when I was doing martial arts and when I was training. So I knew exactly the pattern where I was supposed to go. And I believe that's why, one of the reasons why I was so good at martial arts. And then I believe because something kicks in inside of me when I'm pushed so far that the fighter in me and the survivor in me pushes back. It takes a lot to get me there. But you know, it's said many times, and you may have heard this, that generally us human beings, we tend to either move away from pain or towards pleasure, to take action. We're motivated to either move away or move towards, and there's no right or wrong, and sometimes in our life that changes. A lot of the time I've found I've taken extreme action in my life when I've had enough of something and I've said, right, that's enough. So in martial arts, in the competition, and when I was doing these spars, when one of the girls, I was being really nice and very sweet, and then when I was pushed so far, that's when I started to fight back. And it's the same in life. When I got pushed so far in life, I decided to start fighting back, and now I'm more attracted towards moving towards pleasure. So that's kind of a brief description as to why I believe martial arts and art, writing, the same when I write, I go into another world. It's literally, I go into a fantasy world. I imagine it, I see it very clearly, and I can bring it to life. I make it big, bold, bright, beautiful, and I see it happening before me. And I think that's a very powerful way of getting something done. And the same with the Blackbelt Mastermind, the book, which you had something to play, a big part in it, in helping me come up with the title of that. I think, you know, yes, absolutely, I was confused. I wasn't sure because, as you said, I had a lot of passions with art, with writing, but the Blackbelt Mastermind, when we kind of decided on that title, it really it struck home, because at the time it was about getting back up. It was about, okay, this is enough. I'm going to get back up and fight. And just like a black belt, there's a great quote, and my favorite quote, and it's in the book, is a black belt is simply a white belt that never gave up. And not only does that mean that we always in life should fight back, but it also means that we're always learning. We're always a white belt. No matter, even if we're still a black belt, we're still just a white belt. So there's always more to learn. It's always about keeping an open mind and realizing that it's so fantastic to be wrong. You know, if you want to hold on to being right, then look at that, because there's psychological stuff at play there. You're holding on to confirmation bias, wanting to be right so much. And when we actually prove ourselves wrong and find something even more extraordinary, that's enlightening. We're growing, we're developing, and life gets even better. So the Blackbelt Mastermind had a lot of symbolism for me as a title, but it also meant, just to clarify this, because a lot of people think that the Blackbelt Mastermind is about me. It's about you. It's about the person reading the book. It's about you becoming the black belt of your own mind and mastering it and learning how to fight back and how to live and how to enjoy life. So even with the book, I used visualization. What I did was I imagined the book finished. Before I'd written a single word, I imagined having the book done, completed, and showing it off. And then what did I do? I went on Facebook. I put the cover of the book up even before I'd written a single word and told people, there you go, there's my book. Now, what does that do? That helps to hold you, one, helps to hold you on a very practical level, helps to hold you accountable and going, oh, whoops, I said I've written a book, I better write it now. So it helps you take action, moves you away from pain because of all the embarrassment of not writing the book and people saying, I thought you said you wrote a book. But also it gives you excitement because now you're going, oh, wow, I've actually done it. There's a part of your unconscious mind that thinks it's happened. And your unconscious mind is going, wow, Danielle's written a book. So it wants to make it real. So you have momentum, you have drive. So anything in your life that you want to succeed in and you want to do, if you haven't done it yet and you think that you lack a little bit of motivation, imagine yourself there right now, having done it and how good that feels. And that kicks that little steam train into motion and helps build up the momentum so that you go and take action. How's that, Marina?
Wow. I'm always remembering those days when we were talking about the adventure of the mind each one of us could take at any point with no permission, with no validation, with no one's approval. All you need is to decide for yourself that must be more to your mind than only the 7-10% you are using at present. And of course, it takes a lot of discipline to start exploring your mind. You need guidance, and I'm so grateful you helped me understand there is more to me. There is more to who I am, and there is more to already. There is more. It's not as if I have to create or reinvent myself. All I have to do is to go into this course about learning who I am. You could have 10 degrees, you still don't know who you are until you discover who you are. And then come back and deliver myself, the best version of myself. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And I know that you always said everything happens twice, first in your mind and then in reality. But what's reality? What is reality? Can you create your own reality?
Absolutely, and that's a great question, because what is reality? I mean, a lot of the time people say, oh, this is reality, this outside world, but is it? I mean, if you look at your body, is that really real? Is that reality? Think about it. Every single cell in your body is constantly changing. So you are not, literally, physically, you are not the same person as you were yesterday, the day before, the day before that, the day before that. So if we're looking at physical, material things to be real, is that really real? Is it? It's a good question to ask yourself, because we are completely different, cell by cell, different than we were 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago, yesterday. We're a completely different physical person. So if we look at that as our base of reality, it kind of starts to think, okay, well, hang on, maybe that's not reality after all. So what is reality? What's inside here? That's something that's always been the same. Now, absolutely, your thoughts, your opinions, you grow and you change inside, but your core, the core you, what is you? I mean, I often use this example. If you imagine, a lot of people think that we are our brains and that our brains rule us, and I thought so too for 36 years of my life. I thought that my brain ruled me. I said things like, oh, I can't help it. That's just the way it is. I can't stop these thoughts. Nothing's going to change. This is just the way I am. Have you ever said anything like that? Okay, you're taking away your control, but when you think about it, you are not your brain. You're something so much bigger than your brain. I mean, I often use the analogy. Imagine I'm holding a snow globe in my hand, and when you shake it, all those little flakes are your thoughts, and your mind is full. And if you're stressed, your mind is full with all these thoughts, right? But when you relax and you let your mind settle, all those thoughts float to the bottom, and your mind is empty and clear. So your mind is the light bulb, is the snow globe, right? But the question is, who's holding the snow globe? Right? It's you. You are something bigger. You are something much more powerful, something we cannot comprehend. You are something else outside of your mind that controls it. And I really genuinely thought it was the other way around. When I discovered that, when I realized, hang on, this is a computer, a fantastic, wonderful, incredible computer, but it's just a computer. I am something bigger than that, and I control it. I set the direction. So yes, absolutely, every single thing is created twice. First in your mind, and then reality. You look around wherever you are right now, anything that's material, anything that's man-made. Look around the room, look around the walls, the curtains, your clothes, anything at all had to be created where first? Before it was created in this fiction, in this material world, right? It had to be created inside here. So which one's the real one? When you think about it like that. I mean, if you look at everything in nature, every single thing in nature has curves and twists and bends and ups and downs. You look at a river, you look at a tree, you look at a path, everything that's natural, everything that is not man-made. There's no straight lines. Everything is linear, everything is curved, everything is bent, everything is twisted, everything is hilly and ups and downs and knobbles and bumps and all the rest. That's life. That's real life. Life has its ups and downs. When we learn to get over those ups and downs, okay, we learn that, okay, we can't necessarily change those. We can't smooth them out because now we're trying to make them man-made, okay, like a road, okay, but we can learn how to walk better. We can learn how to climb better. We can learn how to steer the boat if we're going down a river better, okay, and set the direction. So for me, the difference between being conscious or consciously conscious of my unconscious is setting the direction, realizing that everything starts in here. If I want anything to manifest in the outside world, which you might say is really the false world, we have to start making it first happen in here, in the real world that matters. When you've done that, because 93% of you, when you think about it, 93% of your mind is ruled by your unconscious, the part that you don't even really think about. We think we are ran by our conscious part, which is only 7%. But the amazing discovery is that it's 93% is our unconscious. And that part doesn't know the difference between what's real or imagined. Just think about a dream. Any dream that you've had, you felt emotion, good, bad, happy, sad, frightened, excited, whatever it is, you felt emotion. Why? Because you didn't know that it was just a dream. So if we can visualize and imagine the life that we want and the life that we are going to lead, and we imagine it right now, and get ourselves so excited that we have goosebumps, that our hair stands on end, then what are we doing? We're creating it in our metaphysical world. There's two worlds, the metaphysical and the physical. We're creating it first on the metaphysical level. The part that you might say really matters. I mean, I'm not going to go into this too much because I don't know much about it, but you've probably heard a little bit about quantum physics and the what's called the observer syndrome, that when a cell is watched, an atom is watched shooting through this thing that they did this scientific study, it reacted differently by the watched world than it reacted differently from the unwatched world. So we know that our creation, our mind, has an effect. This is science. It has an effect. So if you set the direction in the quantum world, in the metaphysical world, it will increase and multiply your chances of having to manifest in the physical reality, because you have clearly set instructions. And in most of our life, we go around like zombies. We go around literally existing rather than living. And I did it for 36 years, and I've had enough of that. And I realized that once I set the intention, rather than just going along, if we look at life as like a river, rather than just floating along in the boat and not using any oars, I just went wherever the current brought me. I decided, hang on, I can actually steer this. I can actually set the direction. I can make this go a little bit better, if I want to. So I started to steer my boat, and it improved my life. It's as simple as that. You set the direction in here, and it happens in reality.
So in effect, what you are saying, for our listeners who never heard you speak before, you are so passionate. And I just love every single sentence you are saying, and resonates with me, because I experienced everything you are teaching as a result of your teaching. So you are saying that the words have power. The words got tremendous power. And yes, none of our listeners could change their circumstances by clicking their fingers. But what they could do, they could use the power of their own words. So start creating better thoughts, creating a process, because your words have power. So yes, you can't change your circumstances no matter what they are, but you could control the thoughts you put into your mind. So it's almost like we are always in a trance of struggles, or a trance of fear, or a trance of joy or happiness.
Absolutely.
So it's simply choosing the trance that is going to serve your life purpose, or is going to serve your goal. I remember, I think, I'm not quite sure if it's correct, but I think Buddha said that we are shaped by our thoughts. And then if you look back we become what we think. So if you look back into history, many people, great minds, great thinkers, philosophers, philanthropists, leaders, they all said the same thing with different words. Henry Ford said, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So where is this stopping? I mean, at what point you could say, I understand my mind, or what point you can get scared? Oh, my mind is so powerful. I'm not quite sure I can handle this. So at what point you could decide to go on, discover more, or stop? Is there a point where you are thinking, maybe I'm not ready to understand the rest of my mind?
Mm-hmm. I think we know when we're ready. I use sometimes say that there's a rule of 49. Sometimes we have to hear something 50 times before we take action. Sometimes we're just not ready, and maybe I wasn't ready for 36 years of my life. Maybe that was my training, or my build-up, or whatever it was, my lessons that I needed to learn, because all of this stuff that we hear, there's nothing new. I mean, we hear all this stuff all the time. I mean, this is the era of information. We can find out anything we want on Google, right? So this information isn't new. And I'd heard quotes like that. I had heard before. I had heard quotes like, whether you think you can, or whether you think you can't, you're right, or you get more of what you focus, or everything is created twice. All this stuff intellectually I had heard, but I hadn't really listened emotionally. And when I was at my lowest point in my life, that's when I needed it most. And I listened, and I literally sucked the words off the pages in these books. And like you said, a lot of the books I found, they said the same thing, but in different ways. But it all meant the same thing. Like I'm talking about a universal pattern in nature and in art and all the rest. There's also these universal messages that are being sent out to us. And that's why it needs so many people to spread the messages, because everybody communicates in a different way. So it might resonate with you what I say in one way, and it might resonate the way somebody else says it because of the right time, the right place, the right communication methods that suit you. So we have to hear these messages, I believe, many, many times before it clicks. So that's what I call the rule of 49. Sometimes it takes the 50th time before we take action. But as to learning and continuing to grow, yes, I mean, I remember when I first started learning about my unconscious mind and how my mind worked, I was a little afraid. I was very afraid, I admit it. I mean, I remember thinking about listening to my first hypnosis CD. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to wake up in the morning and my mind is going to be like a robot and I won't be able to think for myself. And I thought all this kind of stuff. I was terrified. And, I just didn't know. I wasn't aware how it worked. And now I realize, yes, we're just always in a state of trance. And we're always in a state of hypnosis. It's a state of heightened focus, whatever we are doing. Like right now, I'm focused on talking to beautiful Marina. So I'm in a state of trance, okay, because I'm focused on that. So whatever you're doing, if you ever, get absorbed in doing something, watching television, reading a book, you're driving and your mind floats away, that's because you're in a state of trance. It's nothing weird or, scary. It's just completely natural to be focused and attentive. So I realized that there was so much I could learn. So now, instead of being afraid of it, I'm excited by it because I believe that we go through levels in our life. I believe even in the last year or two, I remember that my last NLP training that I did with people, and it was 7 days, very intensive. And I was in a constant state of hypnosis because to hypnotize somebody, I have to be in a certain state too. I have to go there with them. So I was feeling very kind of hypnotized myself. And I know I had some moments, real moments of kind of, oh, there's something else out there. There's something, I'm that much from reaching another level. And it's exciting because I feel that my mind is literally expanding. If you've ever seen the film Limitless, a great film where he takes his pill and suddenly he becomes, a genius and he's able to do all these things. To an extent, that's what we're tapping into here. To an extent, without glorifying it, and obviously it's not a drug, but it's a natural drug. It's a natural drug of good endorphins, of serotonin. You tap into your higher potential once you start being in the right frame of mind, because we talk about getting things done a lot, and people say, oh, how do you do that? Just think about it. When do you get stuff done? When do you get more done in your life? When you feel bad or when you feel good? Right? When you feel bad, you just want to curl up. You want to sit down on the couch. You want to feel sorry for yourself. You want to do things, right? We've all been there. When you feel good, you're motivated. You're excited. You say, okay, today I'm going to get X, Y, and Z done. So if we can wake up every morning feeling good more and more often, we're going to get more done. We're going to have more happiness. It's simple. But, you have an emotion. You have a thought inside your head that'll lead you to a certain emotion. That emotion is going to lead you to a certain action. That action is going to lead you to your destiny. So at the root of it all is, if we have better thoughts at the start, and as Marina said, it starts with your words, it starts with your internal dialogue. It starts with, what do you say first thing in the morning when you wake up? How do you plan your day? Another wonderful quote that I learned from Richard Bandler is, disappointment takes adequate planning. You think about it. Most of us wake up in the morning and go, oh no, here we go again, another day. I have to do all of this, and I have to commute to work, and then I have to go and spend a day in work doing this, and then, oh no, that, and the other. And I know that by 11 o'clock tonight, I'm going to be absolutely exhausted. Now, if you plan and think like that first thing in the morning, what are the chances of that happening? This isn't hocus pocus. This is science. Your brain is actually going to go, okay, this is what you want. I'm going to make sure this happens for you because you've set the direction. So I have to fulfill that job. You've set the direction. The computer goes, okay, this is what you want. So it starts looking out for all those things throughout your day, so that confirmation bias, like I said earlier, kicks in. And you go, oh, see, Told you I was right. Today was going to be terrible. Today was going to be miserable. I knew my boss was going to be horrible to me. I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to have to pay that bill and I wouldn't have enough money. I knew I was going to feel tired by the time I went to bed. I knew, I was going to fight with my partner, whatever it is. So your mind sets the direction. So if that's possible, and that's fairly obvious that it works that way, then it also stands to reason that the opposite is possible, right? That if you wake up in the morning and instead you say something like, you know what, today I'm going to be really grateful that, I'm going to be able to at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock or whatever, get onto, Skype and have a computer that I can go and talk to the incredible Marina Nani in another part of the planet. I mean, I'm going to feel so good about that, right? And I'm going to be really grateful that I can go and get up and use my limbs or whatever it is that you have, right now, and that I don't feel pain. I mean, I was interviewing a woman on the radio last week, or just the other day, that is in constant pain. Now, I'm grateful that I'm not in pain right now. So, and this woman that I was talking to, I was telling her about another woman that I'd interviewed that unfortunately, for example, is losing her sight and her hearing. And the woman that was in constant pain said to me, you know what, it could always be worse. I'm grateful for that. And the woman that I was talking to that had no sight and hearing is grateful because she's not in pain. Okay, I'm grateful that she still has her feelings and all this kind of stuff. So there's all the stuff that we can be grateful for. Okay, now if we plan like that and we plan consciously and we say, you know what, I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to say that. I'm going to look up at the ceiling of my bed and I'm going to say, I'm grateful for the fact that I can see. I'm grateful for the fact that I can, speak. I'm grateful for the fact that I can just have a roof over my head. I'm grateful for the fact that I can breathe. I'm grateful for the fact that whatever it is in your life right now, it's not that you're settling. It's that you're changing your emotional state. And as we said, when you do that, it kicks stuff into motion. So in fact, instead of keeping you stuck in that situation and saying, okay, that means I'm settling for life the way it is, it gives you more momentum and more drive to actually change things even further. Because you're now, what happens is, when later on in the day you do get to talk to Marina and Nani, or you do get to do whatever it is that you said you were going to be grateful for in advance, something kicks in. Confirmation kicks in. Confirmation bias kicks in and goes, you know what, Danielle, you were right. You did this. Okay? And then what happens is you get a little buzz of adrenaline. You get a little bit of serotonin. You get a little bit of endorphins. And you feel better. And then what happens? Now you feel better. And as I said, your thoughts lead to your emotions lead to your actions lead to your destiny. Now you're setting momentum. The little steam train is going. And you're more motivated to go and do something else. And then you're more motivated to do something else, and you're building up your self-belief muscle, right? So you're getting excited and you take more action and you get more done in your life. It's really quite simple when you think about it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so no, it's actually true. I applied it in my life since I met you, and it's happening all the time. And actually, I can't help it because that becomes, so it's almost like love is not a feeling anymore or an emotion, is a state of mind, is a way of life. So the more I love the people I'm with, the more I love the message I'm putting out there, the more I love myself, the more I feel is no effort to generate love or receive love, or so everything becomes so natural simply because I learned from you that everything happens twice, first in my mind and then in reality. And actually, I am the creator of my own reality. Each day is that blank canvas where I have it in front of me and I decide what's going to be. Is going to be gray and black, or is going to be yellow and orange and red and greens and violets and blues, and makes it that cocktail, that magic cocktail that is called my daily life. And I just wonder, because I know you have so much going on, and if you could share with our listeners, when are you coming to London, and how they could reach out to you?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm probably coming to London for two reasons. this year, or to England this year. I've yet to confirm dates of when I'm coming to London, possibly to do something with Marina. but
all in.
yeah, for that. I will be coming to UK in the end of May. I'm going to be doing an NLP training over there. This will be up in the kind of the Lake District region. So if you're interested in learning NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and more about your mind as well, you can look up that. And I do have one also next month here in Dublin on the 11th, starting on the 10th of March. So that's also, but if you want to find out about me and my events, you can do so at, for example, the blackbeltmastermind.com or danielleserpico.com. And obviously you'll find, you can just email me or message me, and I can tell you all about my upcoming workshops. I do a one-day Black Belt Mastermind Bootcamp, which is a very life-changing day, and you can see lots of testimonials on YouTube as well if you look up Danielle Serpico. And yeah, but watch this space for when I come to London to see the beautiful Marina. Can't wait.
Well, I'm sure our listeners will even travel to London, wherever they are in the world, to have the chance to go places with you, because there is no other place more exciting, more extraordinary, more fascinating than your own mind. From both of us, until next time, is goodbye.